Hi everyone, welcome back to my AP Calculus class. Today I keep solving practice exercises from number 11 about definite integration. Let's just start. Number 11, integral 0 to 1 x times e to the x squared dx. Okay, integral 0 to 1 x times e to the x squared dx. It is a u substitution problem because if you let x squared be u part, the derivative is 2x. So this x and that 2x cancel out each other. Let me show how to solve this problem. Okay, x squared is u part. So integral x times e to the u. Now I have to change the dx to du. So when you change dx to du, 1 over, always 1 over, derivative of u part, which is 2x in this case, and then du. So this x and x cross out. And then these two numbers, 0 and 1, is x values, so we have to change to u values. If x is 0, 0 squared is 0, so u is 0. And then if x equals 1, 1 squared is 1, so value of u is 1. And then 1/2 is coefficient. What is e to the u powers? Integral, still e to the u from 0 to 1. Plug in upper limit, top number, which is 1. So 1/2 times e minus plug in bottom number, e to the 0 powers. E to the 0 powers is 1, so 1/2 times e minus 1 is the answer. B, choice B is the answer. Next number 12. Integral 0 to pi over 4 sine 2 theta d theta. It's kind of u substitution as well. So I let 2 theta is u part. So it will change to integral sine u. And then you have to change d theta to du. So 1 over derivative to u part, which is 2 in this case, and then du. And then those two numbers change to u values, right? If theta is 0, u is 0. What about theta is pi over 4? So 2 theta is u, and then theta is pi over 4. That means u is pi over 2. So 0 to pi over 2. 1/2 is coefficient can come to the front. Then sine's integral is negative cosine. So negative cosine u from 0 to pi over 2. Plug in top number first. Negative 1/2 cosine pi over 2 minus plug in bottom number, negative 1/2 cosine 0. So cosine pi over 2 is 0, right? So that first part will be 0, and then negative and positive 1/2, and then cosine 0 is 1. So final answer is 1/2. That means B is the answer. Let's go to number 13. Number 13 says integral from 1 to 2 dz over 3 minus z. So I'm going to change it a little bit. Integral 1 over 2. I'll change that 1 over 3 minus z dz. And then I will let 3 minus z part is u part. So there will be changing integral 1 over u. 1 over u. And then we can change dz to du. So 1 over derivative of the u part is negative 1, right? Negative 1 times du. Then change those two numbers, right? If z is 1, u is 2. If z is 2, u is 1. If z is 1, u is 2, right? Then if z is 2, u is 1. Then negative 1 can be the front, right? Negative, I want to change upper limit and lower limit. So it was from 2 to 1. I changed that from 1 to 2. If we change those two numbers, we have to put negative sign in the front. They're already negative sign in the front, right? The negative will be positive. Positive. 1 over u du. Integral 1 over u is ln absolute value of u from 1 to 2. So plug in top number ln 2 minus plug in bottom number ln 1. ln 1 is 0, so ln 2 is the answer. E is the answer. Number 14. Let x equals 2 sine theta. Okay, x equals 2 sine theta. And you're going to find that integral 1 to 2 square root of 4 minus x squared over x dx. Okay, just plug in 2 sine theta for x. Kind of a substitution, right? So integral, and then I change that to 1 and 2. Okay, plug in 1 for x and find the theta values, right? So if x is 1, what is theta? 1 equals sine 2 sine theta, right? So sine theta should be 1/2. Sine pi over 6 is 1/2. So theta is pi over 6. So lower limit is pi over 6. What about 2? If x equals 2, 2 equals 2 sine theta, which means sine theta is 1. Sine pi over 2 is 1, right? That's why theta is pi over 2. So upper limit is pi over 2. Then 4 minus x squared. X is 2 sine theta. So 4 sine squared theta. All over x is 2 sine theta. So 2 times sine theta. And then d theta, right? So what is d theta equals? You can change that. We're going to increase differentiation. Use that equation x equal to sine theta. Left side derivative is 1. 1 dx is equal to, what is the sine derivative? Cosine. 2 cosine theta d theta. So I change dx to d theta. So 2 times cosine theta d theta. Okay, then I simplify this. Pi over 6 to pi over 2. 2 and 2 cross out. Okay, the bottom is still sine theta. And then what is top? That is square root of 4 times 1 minus sine square root theta and times cosine theta d theta. All right, so it is square root of 4 is 2, right? So pi over 6 to pi over 2. Square root of 4. 4 is what? 2 square. So that part is going to be 2. And then what is this? 1 minus sine squared x. That is equal to cosine squared theta by Pythagorean identity, right? So squared cosine squared theta, squared and squared cross out, so cosine theta out, cosine theta. Times cosine theta, cosine squared theta over sine theta d theta. So 2 is coefficient, can go to front, right? 2 times integral pi over 6 to pi over 2 cosine squared theta over sine theta d theta. So C exactly says that, right? So C is the answer. Number 15. Integral 0 to pi cosine squared theta sine theta d theta. Integral 0 to pi cosine squared theta times sine theta d theta. I let cosine theta become u part because derivative of cosine theta is negative sine theta, right? That sine theta can be crossed out with the other sine theta in the equation. So integral u squared times sine theta. Then change d theta to du. How? So 1 over derivative of u part, which is negative sine theta d theta, and then I change those two numbers from theta value to u value. It is 0 to pi. If theta is 0, what is u? Cosine 0 is 1, right? That's 1. What about pi? If theta is pi, cosine pi is negative 1. That is from 1 to negative 1. Okay, I will put I'll cross out sine theta first, and then this -1 goes to front. So there will be negative integral, and then I'll switch that bottom number and top number because usually bottom number is smaller number, right? In this case, top number is smaller. I want to switch it. So if I switch -1 and 1, and I put negative sign in front one more time, so negative and negative are going to be positive. And then u squared du. I'm sorry, that is du, not d theta. Okay, so what is the integral of u squared? By power 1 over n plus 1 times x to n plus 1. That's the formula, right? And it's 2 in this case. So 1 over 2 plus 1, which is 3, times u cubed from -1 to 1. Plug in top number, that's 1/3, minus plug in bottom number, -1/3, so 2/3. Where is that? D. So D is the answer. Number 16. Number 16 says integral from 1 to e ln x over x dx. Is another u substitution. I let ln x part is u part because the derivative is 1 over x. And the 1 over x is already there. It will be crossed out. So integral u over x, then change dx to du. That means 1 over derivative of u part, which is 1 over x in this case, and then du, and change those two numbers top and bottom. Yeah, change to what? U value. So if x is 1, ln 1 is 0. If x is e, ln e is 1. So 0 to 1. And then these two numbers cross out. So that is integral 0 to 1 u du. What is integral of u? You use the first power, so 1/2 u squared by power, then 0 to 1. So 1 over 2 is the answer. So A is the answer. Number 17. Number 17 is the last problem I solved today. And then that is by-part problem, integration by-part problem. So even a little more concentrate, it's only BC part. Okay, why is by-part? Integral u prime v is equal to uv minus integral uv prime. That's my formula for integration by part. Then I told you, I gave you number line. The very left side is ln or log. And the middle side is a polynomial. And then very right side is others. So very left side means v, right side the function is u prime. In this case, integral 0 to 1, x times e to the x dx. X is a polynomial, e to the x others. So just x is v part, e to the x u prime part. From them, just find the v prime and u. So what is v prime? V prime is derivative of x, which is 1. What is u? U is the integral of u prime, is u. So integral of e to the x is still e to the x. And then you do that formula, uv x times e to the x minus integral uv prime e to the x times 1 dx. So x to e to the x. And then what is e to the x integral? Still e to the x, right? Minus e to the x from 0 to 1. Plug in top number, 1 times e minus e. And then plug in 0 for x, 0 minus e to the 0. So e minus e is 0, right? And then e to the 0 power is 1, so negative 1, which is positive 1. That means C is the answer. I solved just 7 problems today, okay? In the next video, I keep solving from number 18. So if this video will help you to understand more about definite integration, please click subscribe and like, then turn on the notification. Thank you so much for watching my video. Bye-bye.